This is the Unshadowed Thought Podcast with James Hall. This podcast is dedicated to Michelle Goyevich, Ed White, Caitlin Treacle, and I Chan, and also all the others that have lost their life as a direct result of psychiatric harms. Alright, day 10. Got up this morning. Previously, before I fasted, TMS injury, I always felt worse in the morning. Some people feel worse at night, but it seems to be one or the other. So when I wake up, I get up feeling great actually, and then within a few minutes I end up feeling badly. Um, that lasts for a little bit, and then I kind of burn off or whatever you want to call it. So this morning again, it's been kind of the same thing with fasting. First few days actually it wasn't, but lately I get up, I feel great. I'm like, okay, fasting's easy, and then 30 minutes later, 15 minutes later, start feeling real bad. So this morning, same thing. Felt bad for like an hour this morning, and then now I'm feeling pretty good. You know, get to doing some things. I think things start circulating, moving around a little bit, and you feel a bit better. Maybe do something positive. Give yourself some perspective, and then go from there. So there's that. My throat continues to improve, much like my back did. Definitely can still feel it today, but it's like not really painful. It's just kind of a sensation most of the time. Sometimes it gets a little painful. It's not that bad. If it continues on this track, tomorrow I should be almost gone, and then I'd assume the next day it'd be basically gone. We'll see. We'll see what shakes out. I watched a documentary last night. I wish I could mention. It's like fasting something is about two brothers in Australia that did water only fast for 20 days, then juice fast for another 20 days. Really good show. Totally recommend it. I did have to pay to get it on Amazon. It was only like $5 or something, so it wasn't too bad. Kind of encouraged me last night. These guys went out into onto Mount Warning in Australia, kind of into the wilderness, and then did their fast on their own after having talked to a lot of doctors and stuff and got well informed about it. So I thought that was pretty cool. They did their own things. Lots of the things that they did I'm not doing. Some of their perspectives are different than mine and stuff, based on what I've read and learned. But it was cool to see people out there doing it on their own, doing their own thing, learning on their own, and still doing it really safely. It was really cool. That was my takeaway, and I really liked that. A lot of stories about healing on there. There's a lady with Lyme's disease that healed herself from Lyme's disease. Another guy had cancer, healed himself from cancer with fasting. And another lady had hepatitis C, healed herself from hepatitis C with fasting. So we had these stories on there. Pretty cool stuff. Really, really good to do last night. I find myself benefiting a lot from positivity, seeing other people's experiences, and learning more while I'm fasting. It definitely gives me a boost. And a lot of people, express a lot of worry to you when you're fasting, and doubt can be a hard thing to deal with. I see it as a double-edged sword. So the doubt's hard to deal with. It can totally throw you off and end your fast or put you in a bad spot, right? The flip side is that, the one thing I've known since I was younger is that people and or events will always come to make you doubt what you're doing. It is the unfettered mind and the diligent, determined mind in the face of wisdom, tempered with wisdom, I should say, that will get you to where you want to go and where you need to be. That's how I see it. So, that being said, Zero back pain today. That hasn't came back on or anything like that. No other symptoms different than usual. Stomach still feels uncomfortable, like super annoying. But I mean, what do I expect? I'm not eating. I'm not, you know, I've done this a few times in 40 some odd years of life or whatever, so it's to be expected. Drinking fluids, drinking at least a quart of water a day. I'm usually exceeding, I'm usually probably around a quart and a half a day. I don't want to drink too much, but I'll allow myself to go up to 3 quarts if I think I need it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Not too much thinking going on today so far. So, yeah. Hanging in there. Feeling pretty good at the moment. Not too discouraged, but a few hours ago I surely was. I think one thing that those guys brought home in the documentary I watched last night was that, and the one thing that's not, I don't think it's illustrated well enough in the literature, is that fasting is very hard. You go through a lot of emotional stuff. You feel a lot. There's a lot of changes going on. It's very distressing to a normal person that hasn't done it before. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people out there. Some people are just naturally more in tune to their body. They're more kind of awake. They're more dialed in, and the stuff doesn't faze them. If you have that personality type, fasting can be really easy for you. I think for a lot of us, though, it's very distressing, going through a lot of body changes, having to deal with a lot of emotions, a lot of difficulty, a lot of unknown. And for me, to be honest, like, I'm going through this and I feel like crap. And the biggest part of my mind thinks, like, you think you're going to heal this impossible injury you have from feeling more like crap. It's like, I don't see any progress here. You're going to do this. It's going to be hard. Great. You might improve your life a little bit, but it's not going to do anything for your injury. You're just going to come out of this just as bad as you were, or maybe worse. These are the feelings that I get that try to defeat me. And so I got to work through that. And I'm glad to do it. I'm no stranger to this. This is every day of my life anyways. If I was to experience something truly difficult at this point in my life, it would be something different than being made to feel absolutely and unequivocally miserable every single day. That's a large part of the way I've lived for the last 5 years. So that's not going to be a big deterrent for me personally. For lots of people it is. Doesn't mean it's not hard. Very hard, right? So fasting is hard every day. In the literature, what I mean by the literature is that the literature depicts it as like, oh, some people they find the fast very pleasant, and some people say, oh, on the 10th day, people are happy and they're talking to me, and like doctors are saying this, right? And their perspective changes. Good for them. In the documentary last night, that didn't happen. Those guys were pretty much miserable till the 20th day. I don't see a big mental turnaround in my fast. I just don't see it. If it happens, great. And I was kind of looking forward to it, using that to get me through the hard times, but as of today, it just kind of happened to coincide. Just because it's not happening today doesn't mean I have given up on it, or that I'm like, oh, it's not going to happen. No. Just as of today, I kind of came to the realization that I'm not going to have a great positive emotional turnaround in my fast. I think I could have it afterwards. I think in the time following my fast, I'm probably going to have tremendous emotional benefit. But I don't. When I've endured difficulties in the past, I've never, ever gotten a break. Like, it's always very hard the whole way. So, in the same way, my gut's telling me, like, I am not going to cut a break during the whole fast. And if I'm thinking to going to 30 to 40 days, I'm on day 10. You know, I'm either 33% or 25% of the way through being absolutely not miserable, but in a difficult, protracted, entrenched state for that whole period. If I can make it to 21 days, I'll be pretty happy. I'll be very happy. That seems to be another kind of cutoff period for people that are doing prolonged water fast. The 21-day mark, 3 weeks. You know, if I hit 4 weeks, I'll be very happy. If I can do 40 days, I'd be extraordinarily happy. But lost a bit of weight. Today's the 10th day. I've lost around 13 pounds. So, for a guy who was already slim, that's a lot. And thinking about going 40 days, having lost 13 pounds already, I know my weight loss is going to diminish right now, so I'm not going to lose a lot daily, but that's significant. I'm going to look very, very different when this is done if I go for a long period of time. And it's going to be wild if that happens. So I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen or where I'm going to end, but certainly thinking through all the possibilities. Have plenty of time to do that with. So that being the case, a little pontification for you. I think I'm done for today. Keep it short, easy to listen to. Thanks for listening in. If anything pops up during the day significant, I'll come back on and drop some more. Have a good one.